Hey, Chef Rich here, and I can't stress enough how important it is to eat healthy, especially in the current times that we're in. And it's not about any ridiculous diets, because honestly, diets don't work, but eating healthy does. We're gonna save you money at the grocery store, we're gonna save you time in the kitchen, and we're gonna get you healthy. And it doesn't have to be complicated. We're gonna make it fast and easy, I promise. So to kick off this new year, we're gonna do it in a healthy way with what I like to call the Chef Rich Good Luck Soup. So let's take a look at the ingredients. So what are we working with today? Today we have some freshly ground black pepper. We have some amazing 1 plate herb salt. We have some dried rosemary. We have a beautiful piece of chicken breast, only one. We have some black-eyed peas, tomatoes from the can, some frozen green beans. We got to give love to the frozen vegetables. So we have here a little bit of instant brown rice, and then we have our orange bell pepper, onion, garlic, and ginger. So, you know what time it is now. Let's get cooking. So what's the first ingredient that goes in? If you said onions, you're right. So let's get these onions going. So again, first thing with the onions, and I know we've cut this a million times, I just want to make sure you understand, we cut the bottom off first, then we cut the top off. We just want to get rid of that, we don't need that. Now again, we're just going to cut it right in half, and then peel off this brown layer of skin. We don't want this layer of skin so it doesn't cook properly. And you see how this is kind of messed up over here? What I'd want to do here is just peel this off too. All right, because sometimes that doesn't work. Now, if you don't have to peel the whole thing, if it's just a little bit, you can just slice off that piece. So we're going to do the other side as well. Peel off the onion. Now, why a soup? I love soup for one. Why do I love soups? Because we can do so much with soups as far as leftovers. We always want to save money. And the greatest way to save money is by doing a soup. And you'll see all this, our price at the end, super cheap. You're gonna love it. Again, all we do is slice them down. So we just slice down. And then I just want to take it and just cut. Here I want to have dice. Again, does it have to be a dice? It doesn't have to be. That's totally up to you. It could be a julienne if you wanted to, but for this one, I'm just gonna do a dice. So we're just gonna slice through our onion and then just make our dice. Again, once it gets too close to your fingers and you don't feel comfortable, what you gotta do is push it over and then finish your cuts. Onions, done. Let's get some olive oil. Now, how much olive oil do we have to put in? Now, I know if you've been watching the show, you know exactly how much. If you said 1 tablespoon, you're right. So let's get a little bit in there. Now I'm going to turn up the heat because there's nothing worse than putting food into a cold pan. Onions in. Now we just want to give it a stir. And at this point, we're going to season it just a little bit. So we're going to put some amazing 1 plate herb salt, just a pinch. We're going to put a good tablespoon of freshly ground cracked black pepper. I like it because it gives it a little bit of heat, and it also tastes really good with onions. And then our friend dried rosemary. Now again, we could use fresh if we wanted to, but we just happen to have dry on hand. So we're going to use it. Now again, the rule for when to use fresh and dried, you're going to use dried herbs in the beginning of the cooking process. Why? Because they need time to bloom or open up so you get all that flavor. If it was a fresh herb, and then I would put it more towards the end because it doesn't need a lot of time. It has a lot of flavor. It just needs to warm up. So we got some dry. We'll put this in here now. Now again, when you put it in, especially with rosemary, because you can see it's pretty big, you just want to give it a crush with your fingers and just kind of sprinkle it in. I like rosemary, and I think it makes for an amazing soup when it braises, so I just want to get that in there. Now I'm just going to give this a little stir. It smells amazing right now. And I've been told by many people that I say amazing too much. So I'm going to try to change it up a little bit. But if you catch me, let me know. So our next ingredient is going to be chicken breast. Now it doesn't need to be in there. So I'm really doing this for all my meat-eating friends over there who won't touch a vegetarian soup. We have enough protein in there with our black-eyed peas that we really don't need it. Now, we have one piece of chicken breast here, but you can see how thick it is. All right, what we want to do is kind of fool everybody and make them think there's a lot of chicken in there when it's really only one breast. How do we do that? All you're going to do is take your knife and hold it down. Now, when you put your hand on top, make sure it's staying on top, that you don't dig it in that way. You're just going to put it on top, take your knife, and just gently slice through. All right, once you get to the end, again, be careful with your palm. Then we're going to open this up, and then just take your knife again where it's open, and just kind of slice down gently. Now we have something that looks tremendous, even though it was the same piece of chicken. So all we're going to do with this is just slice it up. And again, we're going to dice this up. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, they can be any size you want. The only thing we want, though, and the only thing we ask, is that they're all around the same size. And the reason we want uniform size pieces is so they all cook evenly. If I had big pieces and then small pieces, what will happen is the small pieces will overcook before the big pieces are even halfway done. So we want to keep an eye on that. So we have our nice long strips that, again, we're just going to cut into dice. Now remember, we want to make sure they're all the same size. Now this would be great for chicken fingers, but that's a different show. And then we're just going to slice this up, or dice it up, really. So we have our little dice, looks perfect. And we just keep on. So we're just going to cut this up. Now again, the smaller they are, remember smaller but uniform, the smaller they are, the quicker this whole soup will cook. If we're putting big chunks of chicken in there, what's going to happen is it's going to take longer to cook, and that's not what we don't want. We don't want to be in this kitchen for hours and hours slaving away when we could just make it in and out. So we have our chicken all cut up. Now, in goes the chicken. So now if you look right in here, you're going to see my pan or my pot is starting to get a little dark. Now again, most people would start to panic, but again, since we are family here, we know how to fix this. So all we're going to do is just take it and add a little bit of water to it. And then you'll see right away, it just picks up this beautifully. Now again, what does that translate into? That translates into amazing, delicious, different adjective, flavor. So we'll just mix it in. Just let it sit and start cooking. So now we got clean hands. So the next ingredient that we're going to put in is our orange bell pepper. Now again, we've cut this a lot, so I know you're all pros, but just in case you need a refresher, we're just going to cut the top. We'll cut the bottom. Now we're just going to stand it on top, slice down, put it on its end, and then just roll it and slice. Roll it and slice, roll it and slice. That way, what we do is, you can see, all we get rid of is the stuff that we don't need, which is perfect, saving money. So now for these, I'm just going to take this, our pepper it, now it's nice and flat, and we're just going to slice it. So now, peppers in the pot. Now what we're adding today is instant brown rice. Now the reason I grabbed the instant rice is because we want to save you time. This is still a whole grain, so you're still getting all the nutritional benefits of having a brown rice to it. So let's add it to it. So one of the things I love about this instant brown rice is, again, is the time. It's really quick. But again, if you didn't have instant brown rice, if you wanted to use a barley or a farro or a different type of whole grain, you're more than welcome to use it. The only thing that's going to change is maybe the amount of water you put in there, plus the time that it cooks in here. With our instant brown rice, it's going to take about 10 minutes until it's perfect rice. So it really cuts down on the time. With some of your other whole grains, if they're not already pre-cooked, like an instant, it's going to take about 30 to 45 minutes. So make sure you have timing for that. So now we're going to add the black eyed peas. Now again, if you didn't want to use black eyed peas, that's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. The reason I'm using it is because it's Chef Rich's Good Luck traditional soup. Black eyed peas are usually for good luck. If you wanted to use a red kidney bean, black beans, a pinto bean, navy bean, whatever bean or legume you wanted to use, go for it. Now canned or fresh, again, if you're going to use fresh, you have to soak them first, which is just another process. What we have here is just our canned beans that we've drained and we've rinsed really, really well. So let's get this in there. So now we just mix it well before we add the water into it. Now again, can be water, can be chicken stock, can be vegetable stock, can be any liquid you want. So now we're just going to add our liquid. How much liquid do we add? Now remember, we're making a soup. So normally with a whole grain, we'd be like, okay, we have to be exactly 2 to 1 or 1 to 1. For this, because it's a soup, it really doesn't matter. You can add a little bit more liquid in there so we don't have to really worry about the ratio. So remember, we want to make it a nice broth. So we want to make sure we have a good amount of liquid in there. Now let's give it a stir and set our timer. So now we need to get a lid on it. Now remember, if you don't have a lid, you just want to put aluminum foil on there, perfect. It's going to work fine. But we got to let it simmer now for about 10 minutes. So don't forget to set your timer. So we got 10 minutes to wait. Now we're not just gonna stand around and do nothing. Let's work on this garlic. So again, we have our fresh garlic. I don't like the garlic in the jar that's already pre-cut or like diced up for you, that's in some kind of either water or oil. I don't want you to buy that. One, it has no flavor, and two, I don't really trust it. So we have our fresh garlic. Now again, when you're buying garlic, you see how closed up this is? This is a perfect piece of garlic. This is how we want to purchase it. If it has like a sprout growing out of it, or if you see that green stem growing out of it, don't buy it. It's not really worth it. So how do we get it out of here? Super easy. Hands together like you're gonna do CPR. And all you'll do is grab it, put your hand on top of it, and just kind of roll a little bit. And you'll see, the more you roll, it'll just start to crack, and then it'll just break right up for you. So now we're gonna take a couple pieces out. I don't know about you, but I like a lot of garlic. So we're gonna put probably a good 4 to 5 pieces in here. So we'll move all this other stuff aside. Now it's still, if you look at it, it's still in the shell. So how do I get it out of that shell? Now this is another easy trick. You're just gonna put it by the edge of your board. You're gonna take your knife, put it on top of it, and just give it a little whack. All right, we'll do it to all of them. Just give it a little whack, push it aside, and you'll see they just jump right out of the skin for you. So we'll just give it a hit. You can take out all your frustrations out on the garlic, and you can see just that little pop makes it so it just jumps right out. Easy. Just that one little hit just makes it where it just kind of just jumps right out of the skin for you. And we have beautiful garlic. I mean, you could spend money on all these gadgets and gizmos that you roll and you toss around and you do all that crazy stuff, but again, it's kind of a waste of money. I want to save you money. I don't want to throw it away. So now we have our garlic like this. Now there's different ways we can do this. We can take it, if we wanted to, and just slice down and have little slices of garlic. We could do that if we wanted to. But again, that takes a little too long. I want to be in and out as quick as possible. So all we're going to do is, again, bring it right back to the edge of the board. You're going to put your knife on it. But again, this one we're going to hit it just a little bit harder. All right, so it's just a little bit harder, and it's going to be just like that. We'll do it to all the pieces. Take it, bring it to the edge. Just hit it a little bit harder. And you're going to do that to all of them. All right, great way to work out any frustrations that you have. Now from here, we're just going to add a little bit of salt to it. Now the reason we're going to add salt to it is because it kind of acts like an abrasive as I go to crush this up, or almost make a puree out of the garlic that I have. So now we're just going to get a little bit of salt. And again, there's only one salt in my mind to reach for, and that is the amazing one plate herb salt. So I'm just going to get a little pinch and just sprinkle it in there. So again, we're not adding so much salt as a seasoning. We don't want to season the garlic. We just want to use the salt as an abrasive to make a puree. Now again, we have the spine of the knife. The spine of the knife is going to go on the board itself. Then you're going to push it with your 2 fingers, grab a little bit of it, crush it, drag it, and again, that's where their salt helps. And then push it back up and grab a little bit more and do the same thing. All right, you're going to make this movement until your garlic is completely crushed. So you see, it's starting to get crushed there. We'll move this aside, and we just keep on going. Work out all your angers about 2020. Oh, timer. So now our garlic is perfect. You can see all this oil that's here on the board. That's all we want, all that. All right, that's all amazing flavor that we're going to put in our soup. So now, timer just went off, so let's see how it looks in there. Simmering nicely, and that's what we want. Remember, we don't want it to boil. A boil is not really good when we're making soups because then food starts to break down. We want a nice simmer like this is going. So it looks good and it smells delicious. Now, if you look at it, you'll say, wow, that doesn't look like it's enough liquid for a soup. But I don't want you to stress out and start adding too much liquid now. Our next ingredient that we add in there also has a lot of liquid. So what's that? Our tomatoes. Now again, we have our canned tomatoes. If you wanted to use fresh, go for it. It's not going to hurt it. What it is going to do though, it's going to give you extra time that you have to cut up all your tomatoes. I'm not against using canned tomato at all. It saves time and it also saves you some money. So let's get it in there. So now you can see all that liquid that's in there. You know, that's what we want in there too. So we want to make sure we get all that in there. And then give it a stir. So like peanut butter and jelly, they work well together. Just like tomatoes and garlic. So we're gonna add our garlic here. And there's no way you can have one without the other. It's almost like a sin. All that goodness in there. And the reason we're adding it now versus in the beginning is because all that delicate oil. If I would have put it in too early, you wouldn't even be able to taste it. But right now, you can smell that garlic. All right, which again, it's gonna translate into when you get that spoonful, you're gonna taste all that garlic in there as well. Let's give it a stir. So now we're gonna add like our special ingredient, and that's fresh ginger. But the way we're gonna add it is gonna be a little bit different. I have my fresh ginger. Now, the skin on the ginger is so thin, you really don't have to peel it. It just takes extra time, and you're never gonna notice it. But what we're using today to cut it up is our little microplane. Super easy to use, and you'll see. You're just gonna take it and just grate it against a microplaner. Now, how much do we want in here? That's up to you. But we wanna make sure that we have enough where you can taste it. And you'll see a little bit of ginger goes a long way, so we don't need too much. So we only need about a tablespoon of freshly ground ginger. Again, give it a stir. And now it's time for our last ingredient. Now again, we always need to give love to our frozen vegetables. So what we have here is some frozen green beans that have already been thawed. Now you can do it from the frozen state, so take them right out of the freezer and add it in here. Just remember, it's going to take a little bit more time. So instead of maybe 3 minutes, it might take 5 to 8 minutes just to thaw them out and cook in there. But you can definitely do that. Now we just stir, give it 2 minutes tops, and that's it. It's time to eat. So at this point we have two options. One, we can serve it just like this. And if you look at it, there's not a lot of liquid in there, but it's enough. So this would be more of like a hearty soup. All right, especially on those cold winter days, I think this would be pretty amazing. But again, if I wanted to add more liquid to it, I would definitely do it at this stage right here. So we'll just add a little bit more. Now again, what is this gonna do? It's gonna make it more of like a broth type soup. So we'll add some liquid. And again, what are we adding? Could be chicken stock, can be vegetable stock, or can be just water. So we'll give it a mix. And then we have to adjust the seasoning. So we're just gonna give it a taste and see where it's at. It's good. We just need a little bit more of, you got that right, our 1 plate herb salt. We're just gonna add a little bit. A little bit more again of that freshly ground black pepper. We'll give it another taste. Oh, that's good. So now at this point, it's time to eat. So the last thing to do now is serve. I'm starving. This soup looks delicious and also amazing. So let's serve. Now we got to get our serving spoons. I don't think so. Yes. If we're gonna do this, we're gonna serve it the right way. So now, let's get in there. So again, one of the things that I love about this soup is the cost. We spent way under $20 to make this soup. And again, we have more than enough. You can see we have more than enough to feed a family of 6 or even 8 people. I mean, we could do this for the holidays and for any day and have enough for the whole entire neighborhood. So now at this point, again, remember, we don't like to cook with a lot of salt. So at this point, if we wanted to, we can add some vinegar to this. Remember, vinegar, fresh lemon juice, or even some fresh lime juice. All 3 of those are flavor enhancers. So what they're gonna do is, because we don't put a lot of salt in there, it's gonna raise that flavor up even more. So it's gonna feel like you added salt to it, but it's only vinegar. One of the things I like to do with a soup like this is add a little bit of hot sauce. All right, again, most hot sauces are vinegar based. So they're gonna give you that vinegar like enhancement, but also give you that little heat, which is always, always really, really good. So there you go. 1 pot full of flavor and nutrition for under $20. So just like I promised you, saving you time, saving you money, getting you healthy, 1 plate or bowl at a time. God bless, and I'll see you next week. It's good.